Okay, so today we're working on lesson 8.4. You guys are going to have a worksheet for this, so you're not going to have to worry about anything in your book. Okay, but on 8.4, we are going to find the missing dimension. Find the missing dimension. So we're going to be going a little bit backwards. Okay, we're still going to be working with volume. Okay. So find the dimension, or find the missing dimension. So first thing, let's go over our volume formulas, okay? What is the volume of a cube? Volume of a cube. Remember, a cube is, right. So cubes look similar to that, okay? And in the volume of a cube, you're going to have a length, and a width, and a height, okay? The volume of a cube, you just multiply them all together. So length times width times height. Okay, volume of a cube is length times width times height. And technically, it doesn't always have to be a cube. It could be what's called a rectangular solid. Okay, so rectangular solid means a box, basically. Okay, a cube technically would be all of these are the same dimension. They're not always going to be all the same. Okay. The next one we learned was a what? Cylinder. Okay, so think of like a roll of paper towels is a cylinder. What else is a cylinder? Like a soda can is a cylinder.
Your coffee.
Not exactly, because it's because it slants a little bit, but
pencil.
Right, a pencil cup. Okay, there's a lot of things that are cylinders.
Pringles.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, cylinder, okay? So, what are the parts that we need to know on a cylinder to be able to find its volume?
Radius.
We need the height and the radius. Okay, what's the volume of a cylinder? What's the formula for volume of a cylinder? Since it has a circle on the top, you know there's going to be a pi in there somewhere.
R squared times height.
Pi r squared h. So pi r squared times h. Okay. Do the best you can on the shapes. Just do the best you can.
And then sphere.
Then the next one we found was a what?
Sphere.
A cone.
A cone.
Okay. That's okay. So cone is like a like an ice cream. Or a hat, or a party hat, yes. Thank you. Okay, so what are the parts that we need to find on a cone? Or what are the dimensions that we need? Again, we need the radius, and we also need what? The height.
Wait, I can't draw a cone.
Okay, just do the best you can on the cone. If you can't draw it,
Ooh, that's a nice ice
you'll be just like me.
You are very fast.
Yeah.
So what is the volume of a cone?
1/3 pi
This is 1/3 pi r squared and
Height.
h. Okay, so cone and cylinder are almost exactly the same. The only difference is a cone you multiply by 1/3. So their formulas are exactly the same, except the cone you multiply by 1/3. Okay, and then the last one we did was a sphere.
This desk is too small.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I'm sorry that you feel that way. A sphere?
I think it's the desk.
Sphere. S-P-H-E-R-E.
Sphere.
How would you prefer I say it?
You did sphere. You say sphere.
Okay, sweetie, it's not a spear. A spear is something you throw at someone in ancient war. This is a sphere. S-P-H. Sphere. I promise that's how you say the word.
She thought it was spear.
That's how I say it.
Okay, that's wrong. A spear is something you throw at people in ancient war. This is not something we're throwing at people. It's like a round ball.
That you throw.
Throw it at somebody.
Okay, thank you. You're right. Yes, like a baseball that you throw. Not a weapon that you throw. Oh, jeez. Okay, so a sphere. What are the dimensions that you need on a sphere?
The radius.
Just the radius. Okay, you just need the radius of a sphere. And what is the volume of a sphere? Volume equals
4/3 pi r cubed.
4/3 pi r cubed. Right.
This looks like a Pokemon ball. Look at.
Then, how do you find a hemisphere? Hemisphere is what?
That volume of the sphere divided by 2.
Right. Okay, so it's half of a sphere.
Do we have more of these?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Okay, so these are your review basically. Okay, this is what we're going to be going over today. So these are all the formulas that you're going to have to know, and you will have to memorize them. Okay? What I'll probably do for your test is I'll put the formulas up there, but I'm not going to label which one is which, and I'm not going to draw the pictures. So I'll put like these. That'll be on the board,
Can we use our notes?
but that's it. No, I'm not letting you use notes. Okay, so you'll have to know which one is which. So I'll give you the formulas, but I'm not telling you which one is which.
Miss Coon, I got a question.
Then that's why you raise your hand and wait.
Alright.
Someone else had a question first.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
When are we having the test?
Your test is next Friday. Yes, Mark.
If we do steak salad for like 5 minutes, can we go back?
No.
I've been
Okay,
silent.
for example number 1. Thanks for asking, but no. For number 1, if I ask you to find the height, of a cylinder, with a volume, of 720 pi feet cubed and a radius of 6 feet. Find the height of a cylinder with a volume of 720 pi feet cubed and a radius of 6 feet. Stop, please. So, obviously, we need to use the volume of a cylinder formula. So, what is the volume of a cylinder formula?
Pi r squared times height.
Volume equals pi r squared times h. So, volume equals pi r squared times h. Then, we're going to plug things in. So, what would I plug in for volume?
Radius.
720 pi. They gave you this. Okay? You're going to have to solve. You're not doing everything on one side. So we're going to plug in 720 pi for the volume. Equals 2, and we're going to plug in what we know. I know the volume. They gave me it, so I'm plugging it in. Pi leaves like that. What's the radius? 6 squared times h. So what you're actually solving for here is the h. Okay? Work this out as much as you can. What's 6 squared?
36.
36. So we're going to have 720 pi equals, would you agree that pi times 36 is equal to 36 pi?
Yes.
Right. We don't want to write pi 36 because it looks funny. So 36 pi times h. How do you think we solve for h?
Subtract.
Not subtract. How is 36 pi?
Divide.
It's attached by multiplication. So to undo it, you would divide both sides.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to divide both sides. So some of these were on your homework previously. Okay, I didn't show you how to do them because I thought you guys would understand, but we're going to do a whole lesson just on this stuff today on finding the missing parts. Okay, so you divide, the pi part goes away. That's why I don't want you to actually multiply out the pi. And what do we get for 720 divided by 36? You can use a calculator if you need to. What would you get if you had 72 divided by 36?
I got 20.
You guys should be able to do this in your head. What's 72 divided by 36?
2.
2 and then a 0.
20.
So you didn't really need to use your calculator for that. So 20 is equal to the height. And what have we been talking about up here? What's the measurement? Feet. So 20 feet is your height. Okay? So you're just going backwards using the same formulas today.
I get it now.
Good. Okay, ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay, number 2, example number 2. Okay, for this one, let's try to find the radius. Find radius of a sphere with volume approximately. This means approximately because we use decimals so much that I can't write it as exactly equal because I don't want to write that many decimal places. So that just means approximately, okay? With a volume of approximately 3052.08 meters cubed. Also, I apologize at the beginning of your worksheet today. It's going to up on the top. It's going to tell you to answer the following questions using pi equals 3.14. Okay, so they're telling you you're going to use pi of equal to 3.14, and all of your answers you need to round to the nearest. Actually, today we're going to round to the nearest hundredth.
What's that number?
3052.08 meters cubed. Round to the nearest hundredth. So if we're rounding to the hundredths, how many decimal places? 2 decimal places.
So that's just like 2 numbers after the decimal?
Yes. So 2 numbers after the decimal, right? So volume of a sphere. What's the formula for volume of a sphere?
4/3 pi r cubed.
4/3 pi radius cubed. So here, what am I going to plug in for volume? This number. 3052.08 equals 4/3. Now this one, do we know what pi equals?
Yes.
Yes. We know it's 3.14. If there's pi already written in the volume, you leave it as pi. If it's not written in terms of pi and the answer of the volume, you're actually going to multiply by the 3.14. Okay? And then radius cubed. So how do we undo all of this? How do I get all this moved over?
Multiply 3.14 by 4/3.
You can. Okay? So you would multiply that first. So 3052.08 equals, if you use your calculator, I don't want you to use the pi button on your calculator. You actually are going to use 3.14. Okay, so that would give you 12.56 r cubed, and this is still over 3. Then what would we do?
Divide by 3.
You want to divide this by 3?
I guess.
Okay. I'm going to say you don't want to divide by 3 yet, because this is going to be a
What about the
weird
other
number.
one?
The way that you could do this is you could cross multiply. Okay? You could multiply both sides by 3, basically. Okay, if you multiply both sides by 3, you got 3052.08 times 3 is 9156.24 equals 12.56 radius cubed. I know that this isn't, it's just a lot of steps because there's a lot of numbers. Okay? I multiplied both sides by 3. So this one multiplied by 3 gave you 9156.24. This one multiplied by 3 basically just canceled out this 3 on the bottom. Does that make it better?
Can you make a note?
Then, how do I get radius cubed by itself?
Divide.
Divide. So you're going to divide both sides by what?
12.56.
12.56. Okay, Mark, you need to go outside because you're too much. You're not paying attention. You're already going to have lunch attention today, so you need to go outside because you're being really disruptive to the people around you.
Okay.
Go. If you divide both sides by 12.56, it's going to give you 729 equals radius cubed. So I know there's a lot of decimals in here. Eventually, though, look, they go away. And that's what we want. Okay? How would you get radius by itself? How do you undo a cube? How would you undo it if it was a square? You do square root. So what's the inverse of cube? Cube root. Okay, we're going to take the cube root. There is a chart in the back of our classroom that tells you the cube roots, isn't there? What cubed gives you, there's something back there that says cubes. It's a pink chart. It says cubes. What cubed gives you 729? 9 equals the radius. So there's a lot of math here involved. But guess what? This is like 4th or 5th grade math. Okay? It's multiplication and division, guys. You're taking one step at a time. You will be okay. Hey, guys, you're gonna have to be okay with us. Okay, next one, number 3. We're not done yet. Probably not. Okay, next one. I'd like you to find the radius. Find radius of a cone. Find the radius of a cone with volume of 175 cubic centimeters, so 175 centimeters cubed, and a height of 21 centimeters. We should be writing. So, volume of a cone. Everything we're doing is going to have to deal with volume. Okay, so what's the volume of a cone formula?
1/3 pi r squared.
Thank you. 1/3 pi r squared h. So plug in as much as you know. So what do I plug in for volume?
175.
175 equals 1/3 is here. Now, does this answer have any pi's in it?
No.
No, so what should I do?
3.1.
Plug in what? 3.14. Do I know the radius?
No.
No. Do I know the height?
Yes.
Yes. So radius squared times height of 21. So you're just plugging in as much as you know here. Now I want to actually multiply. Okay? Do you see anything that you could do here before you multiply?
3.14.
Should you do 3.14 divided by 3?
No.
What would be easier here? Can this 3 cancel out with the 21?
Yeah.
Yes. You want to cross cancel as much as you can.
Like too confusing.
What's
16 problems of them?
Okay, then you could just multiply across and divide if you want to. If you don't want to cross cancel, you could do 175 equals, you can do this all on a calculator, guys. You're going to be fine. Okay, look. On the top here, 1 times 3.14 times 21. Okay, gives you that number. You don't even have to write it down. Then divide by 3. So you get 21.98 and an r squared. Just do that on your calculator. You can multiply and divide on a calculator.
Yeah, that's the way.
Then do that. You guys are you're more than capable of using a calculator. Then how do you get 170 or radius squared by itself? What are you gonna have to do?
By 21.
Divide it by 21.98. If you divide that correctly, you're gonna get 175 divided by 21.98 is equal to, okay, this is what's gonna happen though sometimes. What would you say that is?
8. It's an 8.
7.96178, all this stuff.
8. It's an 8.
Should we just say that's 8?
Yeah.
Okay. We're just gonna say that's 8. So 8 equals radius squared.
Yep.
Then what do you have to do? Square root this one because it has a 2. So you're gonna square root both sides. You can do that on a calculator. Okay, the way you do that on a calculator is you do, I have a button here. So hit the square root button. Depending on your calculator, it might be different. So square root of 8 equals, now what am I gonna write my answer to? 2 decimals. So nope, 2 decimal places. So 2 after 2.83. Okay, make sure you read the instructions. This says to the nearest hundredths. So that means 2 decimal places after the decimal point.
What if like because you know how we made it an 8 because we rounded?
Mm-hmm.
What if it was like a 0.5? Would we just leave it 0.5?
I don't want
or
you
would we
to,
make it a 7?
the only reason I had you round that one was because it was so close to being 8. So technically if we did this, so let me show you. Technically you should do 175 divided by 21.98. Okay, that actually gives you 7.96. Okay, let's say don't round. Okay, I was just showing you the semi-easy way on this one. If you do this and then do the square root, then you don't have to worry. We're just always going to round to 2 decimal places on these. Does that make it a little bit clearer? And you're going to end up with 2.83 for your radius. Okay? Anyone have questions on how we do this? So you're still using the exact same formulas we've been using all week. You're just using them in a different way. Okay? So you're not always plugging in on one side of the equation. Sometimes you're plugging in on both and solving. Okay? You're going to have a worksheet for homework. Your worksheet, you're doing worksheet 4. I will give it to you today, and it's 1 through 16. Okay, you're doing worksheet 4, numbers 1 through 16. You guys will get these worksheets today. These are due on Monday,